Hello, welcome to Real Reds Talk. This is a first. We've got 5 people on the show. We've not done this before, have we? Let's get everybody introduced. Adam, how's it going, mate?
I'm doing good. It's been a great weekend.
Can you remember any of it?
Bits.
No bits. That's all right.
Yeah. Great weekend.
It's a good weekend when you can't remember it. That's a good time.
Yeah.
Civir, you're almost becoming a regular on the channel now. We've seen you quite a bit. How's it going, mate?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Good weather yesterday. And let's can't wait to start.
Let's do it. Shreyas, 2 days in a row, mate. How you feeling? You all right?
Yeah. I'm doing fairly well.
Cool. Good to hear. And Nick, after your controversial statements on Harry Maguire yesterday, how you feeling?
Are they controversial? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit, but yeah, I'm 10-0 champ, so I'm doing well. I'm doing good.
Good. So, as my headphones fall out of my ears, it's a good start. We're here today to talk about the United squad and whether we'd keep or sell players. We're going to go through the squad one by one and just give our thoughts on players, whether they think we should keep or whether to sell them. Obviously, the Glazers are not going to do this. They're not going to sell 10, 12 players, even though we think they should. They're not going to do it. So this is just for our sort of what we think they should do with the squad. Obviously, it's not going to happen. But first things first, there's a couple of topical items got to get out of the way. Luke Shaw yesterday scored for England, played pretty decently from what I hear. I didn't sort of watch the full game, watch the highlights. And he was interviewed afterwards. I'm not sure who it was by. I think it was Sky Sports. And he had a few interesting quotes that have sort of gone around social media and people have sort of picked it apart. But I'll just read out the quote. The environment here that Gareth creates, you always enjoy it. I think when I come here, it's about enjoyment, playing games with a smile on my face. Here, when I come here, I always do that. We all love playing for our country. And when we are all here, just focus on what's happening. My main focus is England at this time. I think everyone does, really. It's always important to feel like you're wanted. I think especially here, I always feel that I'm not saying that I don't at United, but especially here, the way things are, I feel wanted. I enjoy my football. A big part of football is enjoyment. So a lot of people took that to hear that he's not happy at United, he's not enjoying at United, and he doesn't feel wanted at United. A lot of people took that to sort of mean. But Nick, what were your sort of first thoughts on the Shaw's comments?
I feel like it's becoming a reoccurring theme now with players to go away with England, especially United players, and do something ridiculous. Well, it's not ridiculous. He's come out and he's not exactly gone in on United, but it kind of sounds like he's hinting towards that. And if you remember Harry Maguire's famous knee slide with his hands on his ears, giving it all this against Andorra, and I just think, you can go away and do great with your international team. But it's a different level in the Premier League, like club level to international for me anyway. You see loads of players do it, go away, play really well, they come back to the club and they can't maintain that form in the same way.
Pickford's like prime example for England, never let England down, but for Everton is fucking shocking.
And maybe there's something going on in that dressing room. We all know there is, let's be honest. Like there is some toxicity, I don't know, from whatever players it is, we can all kind of speculate, but that dressing room at United is horrible at the minute, I'm imagining, because you've seen all these players coming out. The one thing I don't necessarily like is Shaw, I think, was it after Ole when he came out and did it, saying no one knows what they're doing, no one does this, no one does that. But sometimes you've got to take responsibility for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So it's double-edged sword. I feel like I don't mind them speaking out, but again, they're not really backing up with the performances, are they? Like on the pitch, it's been pretty bad for this season, mostly, and everyone was saying it's a Euros hangover with Maguire and Shaw, but then how long does this hangover last? Like longer than Adams. Like how many Jaeger bombs were they drinking? Do you know what I mean? Like we're in, what month we're in now? Nearly in April. The Euros were in fucking August or something. So this Euro hangover bullshit is a load of crap.
Oh, Harry Maguire's hangover is a bit longer than it gets when he's escapades in Mykonos, but we'll leave that for another time. Civir, you were saying something quite interesting just before we went live about it with the sort of Vultures comment. Just do you want to go into that a little bit? That's what you chatting about them.
Yeah, it was really funny with that one because I don't remember exactly what the journalist asked him, but it was literally nothing to do with United or club football. And I could see him just kind of going off, and I was in my mind, I'm thinking, just don't mention United, don't mention. And then he just went, And because I knew immediately that if he did that, everyone's just going to pick out his words and, read different meanings into it. But then at the end of the day, we always forget that these guys are human beings as well. And it's something that definitely has been on his mind. And I think it was just a moment of honesty. Maybe he shouldn't have been that honest from the cameras. But, it's just one of those things. I mean, he's played well yesterday. He scored. I watched the game. He did all right. And then his goal was really, really good. And I think it was just one of those things. It was like a relief. And it was kind of like almost like an explanation, like, see, I'm happy, so I scored. And, but then I just wish he didn't go into that, because I don't think there's anything bad for him to say that. I mean, if it wasn't on TV or anything, but then for him to say in front of the press, how these guys are like, that they'll take you out of context, because, it really wasn't that big a deal what he said, But then I just knew that they would come for him, and, they'll make it a whole United thing. And like what Nick was saying, I don't think, honestly, like everyone thinks it's a toxic environment. I just think the players are in a rut at the moment. I think it's just, when you just keep losing, or, it's just, I think we need like 2 wins in a row, 3 wins, and then everyone's morale is up, and then all of a sudden the passes are connecting and things are happening. But yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it. These guys are human. Sometimes they kind of just blurt out honest stuff, and then they just say it, and that's what it is. I think if we stop making a big issue about little things, or well, not little things, but if we just stop caring about what these guys really talk about, or it's really not that bad. There's so much to worry about as a United fan at the moment. I'm not even allowing myself to go into anything that Luke Shaw says, or any other player says on international duty. I mean, I'm depressed as it is. I mean, because you guys know how much I hate Arsenal, and I'm just dreading. Oh God,
it's been a terrible year, hasn't it? It's been a terrible year.
Yeah.
We've been awful, and Arsenal have been fantastic.
And then they're gonna be just, oh God. So yeah,
that's insufferable, isn't it?
That's how I feel about it. Really, it's not that big a deal, but it will be made. The journalists are like vultures. They'll come and just pick at every bit of flesh that they can get off the bones of what he said. So yeah.
Yeah, when it's United players, the press just light up, don't they? They just wait for an opportunity to write a story or do something. But I want to get an opinion from Shreyas and Adam, because obviously you guys are not England fans. Like Adam's obviously an Irish fan. Shreyas, I don't want to say bad things about the Indian team, but you know what I mean. But yeah, you're not an England fan. But yeah, what were your guys' sort of thoughts on Shaw's comments? Did you hear him when he said it, or have you just heard him when I read it out then?
I just kind of heard it when you read it out there. Like, I seen 1 or 2 things. I didn't read into it, but from an outside perspective, I think if you're a British player, you're going to be criticised more by your own media than any other media, like player from a different country. And then especially if you add you're a United British player, you're going to be heavily criticised. And I think maybe sometimes the criticism can get to them, and it's been bubbling up with a few of them. And maybe that's why he said those comments. I think it also does affect how they play on the field as well. Like just a lot of added pressure. You see in other countries that don't run their players down, they don't go heavily criticising them, and then their national teams play quite well. They do. But it's a British media thing, and it's been going on for as long as I can remember. And I'm sure you kind of would agree in that sense. It's actually quite upsetting as well, because it does mentally affect them, and you can see how they're not right. And like, he had a good game there. He has to build on it. You just the only way to kind of beat it is to play through it and actually, and perform. So they need to just shut the criticizers up.
Yeah, I remember, like, I'm a bit older than you lads, but I remember back in the day when Beckham got sent off with Simeone, and there was hanging effigies. There was a fucking dartboard in one of the papers with his face. Like, the British press don't change. They just come for footballers. It's always been that way. People on Sky Sport, like Graham Souness, just has a vendetta for Pogba, which we're going to get onto in a minute. For some reason, he just can't stand him and just has a go at him constantly. But Shreyas, what is sort of just quickly your thoughts on Luke Shaw's comments?
Yeah, I think being a United player, you definitely carry that target on your back when you're in front of the press, because they are definitely looking for just one misplaced word and then they can make a story about it, like they just did with Luke Shaw. Because obviously we know there's something going on in the dressing room, and of course frustration has been building up in most of our players, and it's visible on the pitch as well when they're playing. So I still think that the game he had for England, he did play well, and it might have boosted his confidence a bit, because he has potentially lost his spot for a while to Alex Telles at United. So playing for England and scoring and finally getting some confidence, and him being able to build on something really in the past few weeks would be this performance. So I think it's good for him, and still I don't think it's something that is too big of a deal to be looking into as a United fan as well, because we've got much bigger issues to deal with at the moment, with the manager position, with the players going out, and we've got a lot to do at the moment. And Luke Shaw, I don't think is the kind of area where we need to be exploring much, because as I've said, with the board we have at the moment, there's still a big question mark over our transfer window right now, and a lot is going to be dictated in the coming weeks with how PSG react to Pochettino and how the deal progresses with Ten Hag as well. So I think rather than looking into Luke Shaw, we should still be focused on the manager position and how we are going to be building up for next season in this window.
Yeah, exactly. Just one more player, because obviously everybody's on international duty, but one of another player who's sort of speaking out. Obviously, Paul Pogba's not shy of speaking out. Like he said quite a few things during his time at United. He was interviewed after the French game, and he said, "Lack of trophies. I have to be honest, I'm not satisfied at all during the last 5 seasons. This year again, it's dead. We'll win nothing again. Whether it's at Manchester or another club, I want to win trophies." Nick, what do you think?
It's a weird one, because I get both sides of it. So I understand, look, United have probably, when he signed for £90 million 5-6 years ago, whatever it was, he was thinking, I'm going to come back to United and we're going to win loads of things. We're going to do, really well and blah, blah, blah. And look, I understand it's completely, we haven't won a trophy. We won since it's been a Europa League and League Cup.
Yeah.
And Community Shield as well. I wear when Mourinho.
It's not a trophy.
I know Mourinho called it like the fake treble, didn't it? But so that's the only thing we've won. And then he probably goes away with France, and you see the absolute superstars he's surrounded by, and what they can do there, because obviously he won the World Cup with him. So there's a massive contrast in them teams. You look at every position at France, Griezmann, Benzema's, even the likes of Tchouameni coming through now, is I'm a massive fan of.
Kante playing behind him.
Yeah, and he's playing with these guys, and obviously he's gonna highlight his talent even more, because he's got the security next to him. When he's at United, he probably hasn't been utilised in the right position. I agree with that. Similar to how Juan Mata was always used on the right hand side and never in the number 10 position. And he hasn't had the right stability. The team built around him, really. There's been a lot of chop and changing throughout the team for the past few years, so it's hard to find consistency. On the flip side of things, he hasn't. Let's not pretend that he's been amazingly consistent all the time, like putting in 8 out of 10 performances week in, week out, because he hasn't. He has purple patches where for 2-3 months he'll play really well, and then he'll dip off, and we're like, well, where's this Paul Pogba? And he's like, well, and everyone will say, well, he ain't got this player next to him, he ain't got this player next to him. I understand it, I get it, but I just think for a player that you signed for £90 million for that much money, and the guy's been out for 2 seasons with injuries, like in total, it's not great, really. So I see both sides of the coin. I'm not saying it's just Pogba, but it's United as well. So they're my thoughts.
Yeah, Civir, I know you've sort of said some stuff about Pogba in the past. Is that the comments of a guy who's out the door in the summer?
Possibly, but regarding his transfer situation, I think he's being really smart about that, and he's not making any commitments just yet. He wants to see who's going to come in. Now, it's interesting what he said, because it reveals a lot of things about Pogba, because people think he's just here to make money and all that. I've always said that Pogba wants to win trophies, and he's really upset whenever he doesn't win something. Now, Yes, I think just like Nick said, it's one of those things where you kind of, I can see, I see where he's coming from, and yes, he hasn't really lit up, the league, as we expected to, we expected him to. But here's the thing: there was another comment that he made. I don't know if it was in the same interview or before then, where he's talking about his positional play, and he's like, in France, he knows what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw that comment as well.
Yeah. I remember the comment. Yeah.
Yeah, he said in France, I know where I'm playing, I know what I'm supposed to do. So it's easy. He goes there, he knows what he's doing, and that's why he performs. At United, he doesn't know, like he's playing on the left or he's playing in the middle, or so he doesn't really know where he's playing. And like we said already, he's got Kante, Rabiot, Tolisso, everyone behind him. I mean, there were times when he was playing with Andreas, he was playing with Lingard, and what do you expect him to do? Then there is no player, there is no central midfielder that can. Tell me one central midfielder who's gone in and like made a team win and go all the way. Like you can't influence the game to the level that people like De Bruyne, Bruno from the center. You have to be in an advanced position, and most of the times he's playing the 6 or he's playing the holding 8. Do you understand? So he's not really playing in an advanced position, and when he's playing deep, the people in front of him aren't as creative enough to influence the game. So he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Like it's a hard situation with Pogba, and I think the hype train, like what's his name, the rapper Stormzy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like introduced him, and it was just this hype thing. It's crazy. So I don't know, man. I really like Pogba, but I'm just tired of the whole circus now, like with the press. I would love him to stay, but if he's ready to go, then I'd wish him farewell. And depending on who comes in, just bring someone in, and then the whole team needs an overhaul. But that's what we're here to discuss anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Do you think he suits? Sorry to cut you in there, Sam. Do you think he suits the Premier League though? Like his style of play? Do you think he suits it?
Absolutely. I think we have a manager, and I think he would suit Ten Hag's type of play. Ten Hag likes to keep the ball. Ten Hag like passes, or like the quick passes. I think it would be perfect for Pogba. I think he'd use him really, really well. Honestly,
I think if he was in the City team, he'd be absolutely getting player awards.
Honestly, stuff like that. Because guys, think about it. He's had Mourinho, who doesn't play his style of play. He's had Mourinho and Ole, and under Ralph, he's we've seen some really good performances. But I think he suits this. I think Pogba can play anywhere in any league. Honestly, he has the ability to do that. Just tell him what he's supposed to do, or put him in an advanced position. And I think we'll see the best of him. Honestly, even at 29.
Yeah. Anything else to add, Adam and Shreyas, before we sort of shift on?
Well, for me, it's just as he said, it's the circus that comes with him. Is it worth all the hassle? And it's been going on years now. We don't know who the next manager is yet, so he's maybe reluctant to sign a deal just now. I've also had the thought, like, I think United offered was it 375,000 a week. Yeah, and I think so he'd be, I think, on par with De Gea, because I think De Gea.
I think so. So.
So I think it's him. Then Ronaldo was the highest paid, but it's who the next manager will be, and will he be offered that amount anywhere else where he goes? I don't think he's going to be offered that anywhere else, especially if he's coming on a free. No, surely not. So I know it's not all about money as well. He does want to win things, as his comment did say, but he's probably is the best deal financially at United. And will most clubs want him when they've seen the kind of circus that's going around as well?
I still can't. I can't believe that they've put that offer out on the table, because I don't think any United players warranted that amount of money per week. No. You've got people like Kevin De Bruyne, who's on 200 grand a week, 250. You've got Harry Kane, who got most assists, most goals last season on 200 grand a week. And I know United pay.
Well, Mo Salah's asking for 500,000, didn't he? So
yeah, guys, don't forget, United is a business as well. So it's the marketing value. I mean, it's the other things. It's not just for footballing reasons. Yeah. He's not worth 375 for footballing reasons alone. I don't think
it's worth.
Give me Fred 375.
I mean, but if you're selling Pogba and Ronaldo's jersey, I mean, imagine how much it's ridiculous. Like you have those two
social media as well. Like if you put Pogba or Ronaldo in a tweet or in an Instagram, like you're gonna so much effort.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's speaking of those players, let's get into it because we can spend all day on Pogba comments and it's that's to wind a lot of people up. But anyway, so we're gonna go through the squad one by one. There's gonna be a couple of players where we'll just skip past them and just be like, yeah, they're gone or whatever, because there's gonna be players like Lingard's going, stuff like that. We won't spend too much time, and then there's other players where there might be a bit of debate, and we'll spend a bit more time on them. So
let's keep Phil Jones. Keep Phil Jones.
Well, we'll get on to Phil Jones, and we'll find out. So first one, David De Gea. So obviously he's been one of our best sort of performing players over the last couple of months. I've said to Nick several times, when we're shit, David De Gea is amazing. And when we're good, David De Gea just seems to fall apart. I don't understand why it happens, but it just seems that some of the saves he's pulled off this season, he's kept us in tournaments, he's saved us points, he's been fantastic. But he did have, was it about a 2-year period, a season and a half period, where he was just awful. And that's when Dean Henderson, who we'll get into afterwards, came in and sort of stole his spot for a bit. But first thing we'll say whether we want to keep him or sell him. So if you want to hold up your things. I've not
even written mine out yet.
Oh, for God's sake, Nick. Keep, yeah. Okay. I think we're all in agreement. Shreyas, just quick thoughts on David De Gea, like why are you keeping him?
Yeah, I think that he's been one of the most consistent players for us this season, and I think throughout his career, if I put out that single season, 1.5 season really, he's been really, really important for us. One of the pillars for our team, really. And he has been there through all the managers that we have had during this time course. And he's one of the players who has maintained their position. So I think having someone like him would be really, really important for us, because this season as well, he's kept us, like you mentioned, in tournaments. He's one of the reasons why we are still believing that we might make a case for top 4. But I'd still say that I think he still has a lot left in him. He's still, I think for a goalkeeper, he's still pretty much at that age where we could say that he's still in his prime. And I think for 2 to 3 more years, he'll be really important for United if we keep him.
Yeah. Nick, any sort of thoughts on David De Gea, why you'd keep him?
I think you know what I'm going to say. I do want to keep him. But the one thing I will say is, if Ten Hag comes in, the way he likes to play out from the back, I'm not sure Ten Hag will feel the same way. I know he's an unbelievable shot stopper, but I don't care what anyone says, his distribution isn't good enough to be at the top level. If you look at Alisson, Mendes, and Ederson, these sort of modern day goalkeepers, they are far superior on the ball than David De Gea is. And that has a massive knock-on effect. Yeah, it's all good. You know, you can have a striker who's amazing at shooting, but if they're useless at running in behind and little thing and movement and stuff like that, you need to have the full package. So that's one thing I'll say on David De Gea. But on the flip side of things, what other goalkeeper are you going to go get in at the minute that's out there that's available? So I'd want to keep him.
Yeah. Let's move on. So I just mentioned Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson, during that sort of period where David De Gea was having a bit of a turbulent time, he came in under Ollie. Put in some decent performances. I don't think he was amazing at any point, but he seemed to have things that David De Gea doesn't have. Like his distribution is a little better. He commands his box a little better. His shot stopping is not near De Gea's, but who's near De Gea's shot stopping ability? And then he got sort of kind of unlucky. He got was it COVID first, and then he got an injury.
Yeah.
Ended up coming out of the team, and then David De Gea since then has just sort of come into form, and he's kind of lost his spot, and he's not been able to get it back other than this sort of occasional cup competition appearance. So what are we thinking? Dean Henderson, keep or sell? Sell. Yeah, everybody's selling. Adam, why are you selling him?
I think Newcastle are going to be in the market for a goalkeeper. He's English, he's Brit, he's playing in the Premier League. I think we can get really good money for him because he's young as well. They're going to be desperate to make a lot of signings over the next couple of seasons, maybe in the next 2 windows. I think it's good for both parties as well. we get a good financial package for him, and he also gets regular team football. So if he wants to go to the World Cup, I think he has to leave in the summer.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mhm.
Civir, yeah. Any more comments on Dean Henderson?
Yeah, like Adam said, we make some money off him. I don't think he doesn't strike me as like a world-class keeper. He's really good, but I've always said Romero was like the best number 2 we've had in a while. I didn't understand why we sold him. Yeah, sell him, and then because he keeps like making like little comments about he wants to play and all that. Like, so
well, he's the rumor is he's the leak, isn't it? That's the rumor that Dean Henderson is the one leaking stuff to the press.
Right. So yeah, just sell him, let him go somewhere else where he's happy, and then we can get someone that we can kind of rely on. I'm not too fussed about him. Yeah, sell him.
Yeah, cool. I believe Lee Grant is retiring at the end of the season, and he's doing a coaching role, so we won't sort of bother going with that. Tom Heaton, he came in during the summer.
Lee Grant.
Lee Grant. Tom Heaton came in during the summer. Obviously, he was former United Academy keeper and stuff like that. I think he's a good backup keeper. I think we'll probably go in and get a young keeper for our second keeper. I think Tom Heaton will remain our third keeper, so we won't spend any time on Tom Heaton. Next one. So let's go through our defenders. So we'll save the best for last. So the first one we'll do is Victor Lindelof. I think I know where everybody's going on. Victor Lindelof. Keep. Yeah. Nick, talk about Iceman to me.
The Iceman. Yeah. Well, I think we've seen this year, I've said for a while now, he's been our most consistent defender, obviously alongside Varan, but Varan's had his injury issues and stuff like that. So I think Lindelof's been really good for us. Last year, alongside Maguire, both of them were like rabbits in headlights, and they had any sort of pressure put on them. They weren't great, but I think he's been solid this year. I think he's been really good for us. Against Atletico, when he sort of shoehorned him into the team and put him at right back, I was thinking, what are you doing? Like, have you been watching Maguire? And I love Rangnick as a coach, but have you been watching Harry Maguire this season? He's been dog shit. Why are you putting Lindelof at right back? Like, just play them together. They're clearly our best partnership. So, I would keep him 100%.
Cool. We'll move on to somebody else just because I think everybody will say the same thing about Iceman. Rafael Varan, obviously, we got him again, summer buy. Champions League Varan. I think arguably behind Victor Lindelof, been our most solid defender. Obviously, he's had his injuries issues, which sort of let him down a little bit. But I would love to see, if we don't bring in a centre back in the summer, which I think we should, I'd love to see Lindelof and Varan being our starting centre back pairing. But yeah, what are we thinking? If anybody sells Varan, is he selling him?
So,
ooh. Wow. 28 good shots.
Guys,
Sivir,
honestly,
talk to me, mate. Talk to me.
Let me be real. Like, this guy is really, really, I mean, he's top quality. Varan, like, he's as best, he's as good as you can get. We are never going to see Varan play 5 straight games or 6. Man's always injured, always. Even at Real Madrid, he's always injured. And then he's gone to France, he's injured again. We need a consistent central defensive partnership. We're never going to get that with Varan, sadly. I mean, I want to believe the whole fairy tale thing, but bro, we're never going to get that. And he's at the age where, he's here, he's 29, 30. This is his last big paycheck. I know, we're this big team in Europe and all that. I think he was being a little bit smart when he came here as well. Who
would we sell him to? Sivir, who would buy him?
I don't know.
I think a number team.
Saudi Arabia. I don't know.
Saudi Arabia.
I don't know. Just tell him, like, we're never going to get that partnership. It's always going to be this thing where he'll come in for 4 or 5 games. We're not going from the season now. Let's just try and keep track of how many games he plays in a row, and then you see what I'm saying. We're never going to have him for that long period. He's never going to build a partnership with the central defender. It's always going to be him off, and then this person on, and then that's what it's going to be.
Anybody jump in on that? Go for it.
I've got his injury record up here. So he's missed 15 games for us. He's had coronavirus, stomach complaints, hamstring injury, and groin injury. And now I think he's just picked up a foot injury with France.
Foot injury, just none, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, look, he is, but it just depends if they do sell him. Who would United bring in to replace him? That's my only thing. Like,
yeah, but I thought we're just doing is this a realistic? Are we being?
No, we're just saying. Yeah. We're just saying. So yeah,
your own opinion.
I'm just saying, yeah. It's so in a hypothetical sense.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah.
Anyone else want to come back on Civir? He's selling him.
One thing I can kind of think of is I think the best Premier League partnership was Rio and Vidic, but they actually didn't play much games together as a whole because one of them was always injured. So I think at times if you get a decent third option, like you can play one or the other with each other. So it perfectly balances it out that then. So I think having them is a lot better than actually not having them because maybe Lindelof can actually be that, third choice kind of defender if we sign someone coming in next. Because I think when we get to the next person, I think it's going to be obvious what we're going to say. So,
well, we're not getting to him just yet. I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's building up for it, building the.
I'm building. Because I can see Nick's ready to explode, so I need to turn the pressure cooker just up a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah. Next one of Nick's favourites, Eric Bailly. I think
my guy.
I think when he's fit, he's arguably one of our best centre backs. He's phenomenally good, but he's just injury prone. How long has he been at the club now? 3-4 years.
Feels like longer. Than
longer,
that.
5 years.
Mourinho signed
Mourinho's first signing.
Okay.
So about 5 years.
5 years. I don't think he's ever been consistently fit. I don't think he's ever going to be consistently fit. He's had 5 years to get it right. He hasn't done it. He also has got a little bit of a mental streak in him. Like he's the kind of player that bicycle kicks in his own box. Like he's that kind of player.
I like it.
And it's not what you. I like it as well, but I don't want it in a centre back. Like it's just. Marcus Rojo had the same problem. Marcus Rojo had the same problem. He was mental. He's absolutely out of his head. And you can't have that in a centre-back because they're just going to get sent off or do something stupid. So it's just not for me. But yeah, everybody, what are we doing? Everybody, sell. Nick's going to say keep, isn't he? I fucking know it.
He's going to write something up.
Hey, are you keeping or selling him, Nick?
I know.
I think if you play him, I'd keep him. Legit, I would keep him. But it's just what the manager. I don't think, like what Sivir was saying with the consistency kind of thing. I don't think a manager would put his full trust in him, because he knows of his. Let me just tell you his injury record quickly. I've just looked at
Oh God, we're going to hear all day.
We're going to be, mate. We've already got Sivir's got to go in an hour.
No. I've added the days up in my head, so it's almost 112 games missed with injury. And that's just one page. That's since 2017-18. So that's half a page. I've not even gone through the others. Knee injuries, ankle injuries, back injuries. Like his whole body, it's like operation. Like his whole body's peppered in it. Let's be honest.
Can we just put like a Wolverine adamantium skeleton in and just get his honest God.
Just inject him with some Annabelle or something. I don't know. Give him some shit.
Sivir, you didn't pick one. What are you selling? Keeping, selling? What are you doing?
I was literally in the same boat with Nick where I'm thinking I really like this guy, but yeah, just keep it short. Yeah, just tell because like it's
Nick's the only one keeping him.
I'm keeping him.
Adam, Shreyas, you're in the same boat as me. I'm guessing. Yeah, injury prone. Yeah, let's move on. Next one. Adam's favorite player, Mr. Philip. What's his middle name, mate, Adam?
Class. Just Phil Class Jones.
My guy.
Beautiful. Sorry, it's beautiful.
My guy.
What can we say about Phil Jones? He might be the most unlucky player we've ever had. Injury-wise, he's just been. We were talking about Eric Bailly with injuries. Phil Jones has been out for about 10 years, hasn't he? Like he was about when Rio and Vidic were playing for us. Like Jesus Christ, there's got to be no other option than sell it. Like we have to sell it, right? He has to go.
So I'm so behind this. Sorry, miles behind.
10 years.
So, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just if anybody wants to talk about Phil Jones, go for it. But I just, I'm done with Phil Jones.
Do you guys remember do you remember when we signed him? And you know, whenever people talked about Phil Jones, there was some people were mentioning Duncan Edwards. Like,
God, yeah,
yeah. Do you remember that? Like,
yeah, I remember that.
You were talking about like Duncan Edwards, like
God.
And to be fair to him, that first season, like I had high hopes. I mean, he played centre mid and then he even played DM a few times.
Yeah.
It was really good. But it's just the injuries, man. That's not the time on him, like. And I feel really bad. I feel really bad for him, like because of the abuse, the level of abuse he's received.
Yeah, that's not fair. The abuse is not fair. Like I don't like that.
And when that game,
I had a comment as well. Like he made a comment. Someone asked him about a testimonial, and he said he don't want one because he don't think anybody would show up.
Yeah,
and like,
it's not.
I feel bad for the man. I feel bad for him, man.
And you know what? He's shown more commitment and pride in that Wolves game than Maguire ever has for United. He came off the pitch crying.
Like, that's what I mean. He was in tears because it meant something to him. So I think
he loves the club.
Yeah, I think if he can go somewhere at a club, maybe like a lower level, get some games, finish his career on like a high, playing football, which is what he wants to do. I think that'd be the best for everybody.
Just one more thing to add. Sorry, Sam. I just looked one. So this is one injury. Just one, right? So he's a big, but one of them is 78 games that he's made.
Jesus Christ! Did he have his leg chopped off? What happened?
That was a knee injury for 78, and then it's 10, 13, 12, 10.
78 games.
78 games.
Nice.
I just say one thing about him. If the rest of the players had the same mentality as them, we'd be in a lot better place.
Yeah, but it's a shame. It's a shame his body doesn't hold up because Oh God, Phil Jones. Bones. Yeah, we wish you well, mate. We wish you well.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to the big hitter, shall we? Harry Maguire, £80 million worth of defender from Leicester. Leicester like to get you over a barrel, don't they, when they sell your players, because they always get their price. Came in, put some decent performances in. I think he played quite well up until the Euros. Had a very good Euros. Ended up in the Euros team of the year. I think everybody was crying out for him, weren't they, when we had the Europa League final that we lost with Ollie. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's not going to say." And then since then he's not fallen off a cliff. He's fallen off the face of the earth. Like his performances have been abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. I've never seen a player's ability and performances drop so far for United. And then to make it worse and to put the icing on the cake, he's captain. And he's the captain of our team. And some of the comments he's come out with, I've disagreed with highly. And then sometimes outright stupid. Nick mentioned the Andorra thing. He's silencing critics. It's like, mate, you're playing against Andorra, part-time plumbers. Like, come on, let's not pretend that you're beating Brazil or France here. Like, he just seems one sort of mistake after another, and I want him out of the club and I want him done. So sell him. Terminate contracts.
Oh my God!
Terminate contracts. No, I like it. The synchronicity of that. 2 terminate contracts.
Click that one. Click that one. Just do like a 3.
That's going on. That's going on TikTok later. Adam, go on. Terminate contracts.
Yeah, pretty much to sum up Harry Maguire's time with the Red Devils, have you ever read the book Dante's Inferno, the 7 levels of hell?
Yeah.
He's gone through all 7. He's fallen down and he's right at the bottom where it's that cold, where it's so numb now to him. There he is. He's captain as well. He's meant to show leadership. He doesn't do that. Does he have any good qualities? Because for me, it was like his aerial ability, but then he's beaten by João Felix in the air as well. Like,
he's got good feet, though. Like, if anything.
Maguire's got good feet?
Yeah.
In what aspects? Do you mean passing?
No.
Not on where he shares his legs.
On the ball.
Well, he's got good legs. You mean he could go from sitting down to standing up?
He falls off his own feet. Do you not see what Bro had against him for Southampton? Oh my God!
Turned him inside out.
Tripping over thin air. He's good on the ball. He's good on the ball.
Yeah, Shreyas, thoughts on Harry Maguire, mate? If we've not said it already.
I think he's the best player to have if you want endless memes. But other than that, I don't really.
Phil Jones. Hey, wait. We've got Phil Jones, meme king. Phil Jones.
Yeah, Maguire's took over that now.
Yeah.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
But yeah, I think it's big time. We need to let him go. Like you said, we have to terminate his contract by any means necessary. But yeah, it's high time that we either no United will definitely not sell him, but he definitely needs to be stripped of the captain's armband and he needs to become a bench player.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. We'll move on to Diego Dallo, arguably our most impressive performing player, like besides David De Gea in the season. I think under Ralph, he's become an integral right back and has pushed Aaron Wan-Bissaka out of the team. Good crossing, good forward ability. His defending's been not too bad either. Like, I don't think he's been sort of an awful defender. It seems like that loan move to AC Milan did him well. Yeah, what are we thinking? You've got to keep Dallo, right? Keep him.
I just got back.
Oh, Civir's debating keeping Dallo. He's keeping him.
It's a hard one, man. But anyway, I'll keep.
Right, Civir, you mentioned it's a hard one. Go explain.
I don't think we're going to get anything better. Like, I don't think he's going to get ridiculously better. I just see Dallo as he's nearly peaked, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if he's United. What we need is I mean, if you look at all the right backs with all our competitors, Trent, Cancelo, Kyle Walker. I mean, and then Dallo, he's never going to get to that level. But I have to be realistic now, and I will say keep it. Just hoping that he might be a late developer, but to be honest, I think we need better.
I think he's good to keep around, and I think we should definitely be looking at a high level right back to bring in. And I think Dallo would be a good second to him. I think that'd be great. But Nick, you've been praising Dallo all season. Do you want to sort of talk about Dallo?
Yeah, I think he's missed out on a lot of the key development under Ole, because Ole never ever played him, ever. I think since Rangnick's come in, he's been the most improved player under him. I don't think anyone can argue with that, really. He's still 20, 21, something like that. Still got another 5-6 years to get into his prime. Obviously, that isn't the case with all players, but usually you thought prime's 26, 27 years old, something like that. Yeah. And I think he can develop. I like how he is on the ball. I think his technical ability is really good. You haven't seen a lot of that yet because of the different combinations on, you've got your wingers and left wingers who, both sides, we haven't had that consistent partnership really, apart from Shaw and Sancho now, who's starting to play a bit more together. But he's either had, obviously, Mason, who don't play anymore, or he's had Olanga, or he's had Rashford, or he's never had that type partnership. So that always has a knock-on effect on your game. And I just think if you get a consistent right winger in front of him and he can improve defensively, because we know he is an amazing defensive player, but neither is Trent. I just think you can develop him, and I think he will get to a higher level. Whether he gets to the Cancelo level or like I mentioned, then Trent, I'm not entirely sure, but I think he can get better, definitely. And I'm happy with him at the moment if he continues to improve.
Proper coaching, it's just what he needs. And if we make the right appointment next, I think he could be a really, really good player.
I agree.
So moving on to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think when he came in, there was a lot of promise because he was probably our best one-on-one defender that we had. Some of the tackles that he was making were unbelievable because we've not seen that for a while from a United player, making the sort of tackles he was. He never seemed to put foot wrong defensively. And then I think we were hoping that he was going to develop the attacking side of his game, the sort of what we need from a modern day fullback, and it just doesn't seem to have happened. He just doesn't seem to have kicked on. He seems to have plateaued since we bought him. He doesn't seem to have sort of advanced his game, and now Dallo's took his spot. We paid 50 million for him and I think we paid 50 mil because there was a promise of developing the player there, and I don't think it's happened, and I don't think the experiment's worked, and I think he needs to go. Sell, keep.
I'm in two minds.
You gotta pick one.
You see, for me, why I chose sell was, you see Harry Maguire getting into this England team and he hasn't been good at all, and now he can't even get in Aaron Wan-Bissaka even when he was going through a good period. So like, if players are being chosen and they're not playing well, obviously the international manager doesn't like the type of player he is.
Yeah.
So for me, I just don't see how he can play as a modern fullback, because we really need a modern fullback, and I think Dallo can be that, but I'd rather bring someone through the roots as well.
There's so much emphasis now on, if you look at South City play with Cancelo and Kyle Walker and players like this, and Robertson and Trent for Liverpool. Yeah. If you look, there's so much emphasis on the wing backs now, and I don't think I'm saying Maguire then. I don't think Wan-Bissaka can get to that level. I really don't. Like, defensively, we know, we always repeat ourselves, is really good. And in away games, when you're playing like a PSG away or something like that, it can be really effective because its defensive stability is, second to none. But I just don't see him improving at all on the technical front. Like, he's but he's got a chance to. Don't get me wrong. Like, it could always happen. But if I was to put money in it, I don't think he will.
Sivir, you're keeping him.
I don't know, man. This keep or sell game is a lot harder than I thought, actually. Honestly, because thinking about it now, like what Nick's just said, it's just literally just gone like ding in my head. Like, he's never gonna just get to that modern fullback level that we want to see from him. I might have to change that to a sell,
Yeah, you can change your mind. All good.
I mean, he's a defender. Don't get me wrong. He's a proper, old school defender. He's the old school number 2, like, one of them. Yeah. But then I think at the same time, if somebody once mentioned he could transition to centre back, because if he could just tackle. But I don't know, sell him. So I think I would, if we're speaking hypothetically, and it was up to us, and this was Football Manager on PC, I would sell.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. He could kind of play a little like Azpilicueta. He started as a right back, now a right centre back. Yeah. So could he play that position? I think Ollie done the experiment one time away at Leipzig and it didn't work. I remember.
Under Ten Hag, if he came in another manager, I don't think he'd use him at all.
Well, Ten Hag plays with full backs and he likes to play high and wide, doesn't he? Yeah. The thing, and he's not going to work. It's not going to work with Ten Hag like that. So. Moving on to left backs, Alex Telles. Won't spend too much time on Alex Telles. Good secondary left back. Sorry, he isn't going to pull up trees. Isn't going to do much, but he's a good second option. Keep, I'd keep him. Keep him. Nick, keep him. Yeah. I don't think there's anything, unless anybody wants to say anything about Alex Telles, but I don't think there's anything to sort of much to say about Alex Telles. No? Cool. No. Let's move on. Luke Shaw, controversial. We just spoke about him in the sort of build-up. For a good couple of years, he was a bit injury-prone, had a couple of very unlucky injuries, the leg break and stuff like that. Under Mourinho, he was told he plays with no brain. He has to play with my brain because he can't think for himself. Got dug out weekly basis by Jose. Under Ollie, he seemed to discover some sort of form, started playing well, and then the sort of last 8 months of last season was phenomenal, absolutely amazing. The best we've ever seen him. Got to the Euros, had a fantastic Euros, again, named in the team of the Euros. And then much like Maguire, not the same level of Maguire, but much like Maguire, Euro hangover has kind of fallen back to a really poor level and hasn't regained back to where he should be. And I'm at a loss with Luke Shaw. I don't know what to do. because there's a player in there. The ability's there. We've seen it. Civir's keeping him. Keeping him.
I think he just needs to be loved.
I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. I think if Ten Hag comes in, I'd be prepared to keep him to see what Ten Hag could do with him and see if he can coach him and get him back to form. I think if Pochettino came in, I don't think it's going to end well.
He's got one more year for me to prove that he can get back to that Roberto Carlos form. If next season he's still doing the same shit, making the same errors, I think getting another centre back in next.
Don't play him with Maguire. I don't ever want to see that.
I think he's got to worry about Harry Maguire behind him, and in the defence line, you need to be sure and have that consistency. I think if Rafael Varan was next to him, he'd feel like he'd have more freedom to get forward and bomb forward and not have to worry about Maguire making a daft mistake, which then ultimately makes him look shit. So yeah, I think he's got one more year for me to get back to the levels we know we can play, and that's the only thing that's sort of keeping me on at the minute.
Shreyas, what are your sort of thoughts on Luke Shaw?
I mean, quite similar, because we have seen the kind of levels that Luke Shaw can achieve when he is at his full confidence and playing at his full peak. But this season there has been a drop off, and like we've seen, he doesn't work at all with Harry Maguire next to him. But I do think that if we get a manager like a Ten Hag, I think there is a lot of scope for Luke Shaw to sort of come back to what he was playing like last season, because the way Ten Hag plays, he likes his fullbacks to move forward and link up more with the attack and be more linked with the attack rather than just defending. And Luke Shaw is that kind of a player where if we can develop him into a player who is who's given the license to move forward and make more crosses in and link up more with either Sancho or Olanga or whoever it is with him, I think he can do really, really well. And like Nick said, I think he deserves another year, because we've seen how good he can actually be. He was one of the best left backs, I would say, in Europe last season. So give him a year, give him a shot under the new manager, and if he works, then we've got a big area in that defense sorted out.
We've got a couple of players here. I think I'll just go through them quickly. Brandon Williams is on loan at Norwich. I think the plan is to loan him out for another year. I don't think he's getting in the squad. But Adam, you got something to sell him? Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's to sell. Yeah, sell Brandon Williams. Yeah. He's just not going to be the quality of the fullback we want, is he? It's just not going to be there. Axel Tuanzebe, I think the experiment's over, isn't it? I don't think he's going to work. He didn't work at Villa, didn't work at Napoli. I don't see it. Sell him to a second tier club or a championship club or something. Let him have some sort of career. Yeah. So, Tenen Mengi, he's very promising. Is he at Derby? He was at Derby. Where is he now?
Birmingham, innit? I think.
Birmingham. I think he's a very promising centre back. I think we should keep him. I think he's potentially a future starter for Man United. Anyway, anybody got any comments on Tenen Mengi, or we can move on to the midfield if you want?
What people don't talk about with Mengi is his pace as a centre.
Oh yeah,
he's got mad like Olympic level pace, and I just want to see that being developed. And I mean the aggression, and with
play as well. Can play with the ball. He can play with the ball.
Yeah, I remember watching like one of his highlights, and there was this through pass he made from the middle from just behind the middle line to Hannibal, and it was literally like a splitting pass. So under a manager like Ten Hag, I'd love to see what he can do with them, because those Ajax guys, like if you're old enough, you're going to play. So you remember when we played them in the final, they had like 17, 18-year-olds.
Sivir, look at Justin Timber now for them, centre back at Ajax. Very young kid, but he looks phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So there's no reason why Ten Hag couldn't come in and do something like that with a Mengi or someone.
Absolutely,
yeah. Let's go on to the midfield then. So spoke about Pogba in the sort of intro and stuff like that. I think we've been through whatever our thoughts on Pogba pretty much, haven't we? He's got a contract I believe the contract's still on the table, but he's not signed it yet. I think he's entertained. He's looking at where he wants to go and possibly who comes in as manager before he makes a decision. If it were up to you, like, would you pull the contract away from him and just like see it bye, or would you be wanting him to sign the contract? Keep. I'm getting rid of him. I'm done.
I got it. I don't know if we can
What's
read that.
Let it go. The call never bothered me anyway.
I'd go into depth about it, but we haven't got time, so I'll just.
Yeah, I think we spoke about him in the preview, but good player. Like we said, circus and stuff like that.
I think it's best for both sides, Sam. If
It's like what I think it was it Adam who said that about Luke Shaw, like just like one more year. Like, if we get hypothetically, if we get Ten Hag, I'm willing to just give Pogba like one more year. Because we'd see him under a really good manager in a system where he knows what he's doing, and then we can judge. And then because the talent there is just is way
that's undeniable.
Yeah, I just don't want to see that happening somewhere else. So anyway, but yeah, we can go on.
So Raiola.
Get rid of Raiola, and I'm happy.
We can only hope. One matter, I believe he's retiring at the end of the season. I believe he's going. Retire? Yeah, I think he's got. I think we said on the group chat, didn't we? Let him go upstairs, let him be an ambassador or Spanish commentator, whatever. Like,
book some paella, man.
Yeah, work for like MUTV or something.
Yeah, do something. Like I love the guy. He's one of the kindest, most charitable players. He's one of the few players where I like him as a human being because he seems like a genuine dude. But we played him out of position for too long, and now his legs are gone. So it's just
behind the scenes. I'd like to see him still involved. Maybe not on the pitch, but have around the club. He's good.
Yeah, that'd be great. Jesse Lingard. I mean, we haven't got enough time, have we? Have we got enough time?
Again, let it go.
Let it go. Just uninterested in playing for us. The debacle in January with Newcastle, it's got to a point now. He just needs to go, doesn't he? Just leave the club.
Again, better for both clubs.
Yeah,
better for both clubs. Just
it's over. Respectfully, Ahmad, I think he's going to continue with loan, isn't he? He's just going to be loaned out again next season. I don't think he's getting in the first team unless Ten Hag has a complete change of fortunes and he goes, no, I want him in my team. I think he's going to go back out on loan. So
he can make him into a really good player.
Yeah, I balance.
Ahmad is a star boy. Absolute star boy.
Well, hopefully he goes on loan to a sort of higher level team next season. That'd be good to see.
Everton in the championship.
In the championship, yeah. Oh, that'd be funny. Anyway, controversial one. Nick's favourite player, Mr. Fred, who claims he's Brazilian, but he's only seems to have found his passport recently.
Some of the stuff he was doing in that Atletico Madrid game, oh my God.
So,
like Maradona.
Beginning of the season, Nick was on the Fred train, praising him, singing his praises, saying he was fantastic, putting in some good performances. And then he just decides to have some games where Nick's always setting his colours to the mast. Keep, sell. Ooh, we'll get onto that, Shreyas.
Kick him off.
Banned. I had my famous comment that's about it's like living with a bipolar mental patient. When you get home from work, you don't know whether he's set the house on fire or he's cut you a 5-star meal because every performance just seems to be one or the other. He never seems to put in like a 6-7 out of 10 performance. It's always like an 8-9 or a 4. Like he just seems to be all over the place. I don't understand it. But if he can play,
the same game.
In the same game.
It even happens, but you don't know what you're going to get first half.
No, so it's just unbelievable. But then in the Atletico game, arguably man of the match, just seemed to be absolutely tearing players apart. Shreyas, you said sell.
Yeah.
How are you selling him?
I just don't think that he's consistent enough for a team like Man United because we've seen that he has a good game where he is arguably one of the best players on the pitch, like he had against Atletico. But then there's a massive let off. He drops off massively, and for the next like a couple of months, he's nowhere to be seen on the pitch, and he becomes one of those players who can't even place one pass correctly. And if you see right now, potentially getting a Ten Hag, Fred isn't the player who can do those short passes week in and week out. And when you see the kind of options that we might be linked to or might be available to us, like we've seen that Yuri Tillemans could be available on a free next season. So if you potentially see the kind of candidates that we can actually get him for, I would actually sell him, get some money in, and get some quality player in. And because I'm not really convinced with this consistency on his day, like it's the same case with Pogba really. On their day, they are unplayable and they can be really, really great. They can cause the opposition a lot of problem, but they aren't consistent enough. And being a United player, you need to be consistent.
Nick, talk about Fred. Why are you keeping him?
I don't know. It's a weird one because I go through like periods in the season where I feel like just sell him and fuck him off. Like, and then I have times where I think, wow, he's played so well today. He's man of the match. He's been like really great player. Let's keep him in this team. And I think since Rangnick's come in, since he's played in more in that 8 role where we can press high up the pitch and stuff like that, we've seen us score goals from him just doing that single-handedly, applying pressure himself. I think is integral to the way we play when we're pressing. Is tackling, is tenacious. It's just his on the ball ability that lets him down. But I don't know, man. I feel like as a squad player, I'll be happy to keep him. Like, he can do jobs in big games where you need him. Like I said before with Wan-Bissaka, for example, if you're coming up against a PSG away or a Madrid away, you deploy Fred in there and just say, get at him. You know, like Ji-Sung Park did with Pirlo, for example, just deploy him in that kind of role. I'd be happy to keep him on that behalf. I love his commitment. And I know it all isn't all about work rate and effort and all that, but he's second to none, one of the hardest workers in the team and the most committed. Like, he will die on that pitch for United, and that's what I love about him. So, yeah, I'd keep him as a squad player, definitely.
Yeah, speaking of commitment and hard work, Scott McTominay, I think somebody said apparently he follows instructions to the letter, which is why every coach that's been at United has played him pretty much consistently, because he follows instructions to the letter. He's passionate. He gives a shit about the club. He puts in 100% effort every time. Might not have the ability of a Rodri or a Gundogan or any of that sort of stuff, but his commitment and his attitude, second to none. I think he's, as a squad player, he's fine to keep around. I think we keep him. Civir, you're going to say sell? Sell him. Talk to me, mate. Talk to me.
So, ever since he was in the youth setup, like I've been a big McTominay fan. Like, I really, really like him, and I think he's not even playing in his natural position, because if you watch the youth games, he was a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
And so he had more assists, he had more goals.
He's a box to box, isn't he? Really.
He's a box, yeah. You know, and he's one of. I know, like, a lot of people would disagree, but if you notice, like, he's one of the best. Like, well, not the best, but he's really good ball striker. Like, he strikes the ball really well. He's always on target. Like, whenever he shoots and stuff. Yeah. So he's really good. But I just don't see him as that quality player that we need. Like, I look at all the other big teams and I try to see if they have like a Scott McTominay-esque type of player. I know we had Darren Fletcher, and everyone was really patient with him, and he really came into it. But then I don't think we're going to get the same thing with Scott McTominay. I think it's good to have him around, and maybe I'd see him as a squad player. But if I could free up his position to get more quality somewhere else, I definitely would. Like, if we were going to get like a Carlos Sola from Valencia, or like a Marcos Llorente from Atletico Madrid, like one of them kind of players. Yeah, I mean, I really like Scott McTominay, but yeah, if it was up to me, I mean, I'd make more. I'll sell him just to make room for some players, and at least we can get a bit of money from him. We never make money off anyone anyway.
No.
So,
the last player we made money off is Dan James, wasn't it? That was the last sort of player we made any profit on.
So respectfully, I would sell. Respectfully.
Yeah. Adam, any thoughts on Scott McTominay?
I just checked there. It's like, oh, what age is he? Everyone calls him a young lad. He's actually older than me. So that was a bit of a shock. I still call him a young lad too as well. And it's like, all right, you're older than me, but 25, yeah.
25, yeah.
25. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought he was like 22, 23. But I think as an option, just for squad depth, you need depth. And we've lacked it severely in recent months now, probably since January. And it's been an issue, especially in the midfield area. So like Fred, I'd probably keep him just for a bit of squad depth.
Yeah. Moving on to the Man Matic. I think we've said this so many times. If he was 5-6 years younger, retired, 5-6 years younger, he'd be a perfect DM because on the ball, he's fantastic. Could tackle, break up play, all that stuff, but his legs have just gone. Like, he's just not capable of playing. Like Civir said about Eric Bailly, like, just can't play 3-4 games in a row. Just can't do it. I just think, just needs to go.
Yeah, he's gone anyway.
Is he gone anyway?
Well, yeah, his contract is ended at the end of the season.
Yeah, the summer. Legs transplant. I think we're all spending more time on the Man Matic. This one might split down the middle. Donnie Van Der Beek. I think every week for about 6 months we were saying, why is Donnie not playing? Why has he not been given an opportunity? Solskjaer didn't want to play him. Carrick didn't play him, and now Rangnick didn't seem to want to play him either, and he's ended up going on loan to Everton. He's not sort of lit the world on fire at Everton either, but to be honest, Everton are in a shambles anyway, so I don't think that's his fault. If Ten Hag does come in, he's worked with Donny before, he's sang Donny's praises. I think if Ten Hag comes in, he'll get an opportunity. If he doesn't, my God, Donny's might as well just retire, because if Ten Hag's not going to play him, mate, he's fucking leave.
Do you know what's funny, Sam? If we go back and watch this clip, like every single one of us has said, if Ten Hag comes in, can you imagine if Pochettino gets announced in like 2 weeks? And we're all sat there like, it's just completely flipped on its head, and we're just like, right, never mind. Because it could still happen, let's be honest. But
it could, definitely could. Donny, we selling or keep him? Yeah. Keep him.
I'd like to see him play with a bit of the freedom that Fred's actually given on that.
We'll get onto that, Nick.
Yeah, Fred's had a bit of a free role like under Rangnick, and I think that's a position Donny would have been really, really, really good in. He just hasn't been given that chance. Never has at United. So if Eric comes in, hopefully he'll get that chance.
Are you on first games basis now? Are you with him?
We are, yeah. Me and
old mate Eric.
Eric, my boy Eric.
Yeah, Nick, you've said sell him.
You know what? I just feel sorry for him, man. I really feel sorry. I just feel like he needs to go to a different league and just get his career back on track. It's all good saying, hypothetically, if Ten Hag comes in, but if we're saying right now, the way it's been for the past 2 years, none of the managers that's come in has rated him at all, as we all just said then. So I'd just sell him. I just think it's easier to sell him rather than, I don't think, unless it is Ten Hag, as we keep saying, I don't think he's going to get. Just sell him. I feel sorry for you, Donny, mate. Just go to another club and feel love there, because he deserves it. He was a well-touted player when he was at Ajax. A guy who's on the Ballon d'Or nominee shortlist, like the 30-man shortlist, whatever it was, got to a semi-final with Ajax. He's a good player, but it just hasn't worked out with United.
Arguably bought when the manager didn't want him. Like the board bought Donny, didn't they? And Ollie clearly didn't want him because he didn't play him. I
just think if you're sending Barcelona or somewhere like that, like a possession-based team, I think you put him under Xavi, for example, I think Donny would do really well.
Yeah,
I disagree. I think I keep hearing this thing about Donny Van Der Beek not being suitable for the Premier League, and I don't agree with that. I mean, I've seen games where he's played really, really well and didn't really need to be like a physical player or anything. Newcastle. I remember the preseason when he played with Nemanja Matic and both of them. I
was at that game.
Yeah, he's a really intelligent player. He plays around other intelligent players like him, I don't think it's that much of a. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think we can see the best.
I think it's good enough. It was just a case of I just feel sorry for him, like.
Yeah. But he needs, like Adam said, he hasn't had a chance. I think we played Fred how many times when he was like told.
Yeah.
We played him into form, basically. Like,
yeah.
Also, yeah, we literally played him into form. I'd like to see Donnie giving, just go in there. I have all the trust, I trust in you. Go in there, play for a run of games. Let's see what you can do.
I've been saying that for a while. I think if you give Donnie 7-8 games, I think you see the player he was at Ajax. I think you get to see it. And hopefully Ten Hag coming in, I think we'll hopefully finally get to see that. We get to see him play 7-8 games and just
one quick thing.
Do.
One really quick thing. Like, so I mentioned how he played with Matic and how good they were together. And remember the game against Newcastle, how him and Mata were just literally in sync. It's just like you have intelligent players around you, and then
technical good players.
The game, his debut when he scored against Palace in the League Cup.
Yeah.
That was so like. I mean, yeah, he can perform. I think one more season at least.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think this one's going to be pretty short. Bruno Flanders, keeping over. 5-year deal.
That sounds.
Oh, it's going to be a sell then. Yeah. I thought he was sell then. I was like, wow, Civir's going in.
I picked up the wrong one.
Yeah, we all know about Bruno. Like, I won't spend too much time. We always, Bruno, how good Bruno is and how integral he is. So we'll not spend any time on that. James Garner, he's a bit on loan at Nottingham Forest. We played really, really well for them. Yeah, keep.
I couldn't wait.
Easy.
I couldn't wait.
He's been fantastic. That game again, I watched the game against Arsenal where he tore them to pieces and just looked phenomenal. I think he's probably going to go out on another loan, but maybe at a higher level next season. But I wouldn't be against bringing him into the first team, being backup to whoever we bring in. I wouldn't be against that, but I think they're probably going to send him out on loan. But if anybody wants to speak about Jimmy, go for it.
Just a quick stat on Garner. So before he went to Nottingham Forest, they had a 0.95 average of points. Before he went, they had a 0.95 average. Since Garner's been, they've got a 1.36 average now. He's got something like an average of 85% pass accuracy, and a lot of them are breaking the lines, which is exactly what we need in our team. So I would be happy to bring him back in the summer. Bring in, I don't know, for just an example, Chumi and Tillemans. Which probably never happened with United, but if you was to bring in players like that and then let him blossom naturally whilst, bring him in the odd game and cup games, stuff like that, I'd be happy with that. But I think he's going to go on loan again next season.
Yeah. Have you noticed like he's bulked up as well? Like he's put on a bit of like.
He's put size on, hasn't he?
Yeah. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but he kind of reminds me of Goretzka. There's something similar about him. And I really listen. Mateus Delight at Ajax was killing it when he was 17. When we played them in the UEFA Champions League, what was that called? The Europa League. Yeah, he was 17 years old, and look at the maturity he showed then. De Jong was like 18. I mean, if your manager trusts you, and if I'm not saying he should play now, but he should come back. Let's see what he does in pre-season. And I would not be against the new manager kind of like just easing him in. Because imagine if we had Jude Bellingham, Oli would have left him on the bench. I don't think. Imagine, because last season he was, we're trying to sign him, and then he went to Dortmund.
Yeah.
He came to United, he would be on the bench. Like they wouldn't have trusted him. Yeah. So a player like that showing that kind of promise, you have to nurture it, and you have to at least take the chance. If it doesn't work, then you send him on. But take a chance, like get him at that, that crucial time. So,
I think there's the phrase in it. It's if you're good enough, you're old enough. That's what it's sort of at. Moving on to forwards, there's a couple I won't spend too much time on. Like Mason Greenwood, obviously we know the situation, so let's not
prison
attempt to let's not attempt to delve into that one and get ourselves cancelled. Jadon Sancho, keep it, don't we?
He's going to be some player if the right manager comes in.
He is probably our best player right now. Absolutely, but if Ten Hag comes in, he's going to absolutely love Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
He's going to be a fantastic player.
Ripper.
So, next one, Anthony Olanga. I think very young, very raw talent, but yeah, he needs to stay. Here's a question: do you think he should stay around the first team next season, or do you think he needs to go out on loan and get some sort of experience playing game in, game out?
Keep him 100%. He's ahead of Rashford at the minute, the way he's performing. Absolutely keep him in that team. Let him keep developing. Obviously, it's not going to be Rangnick, is it? It's going to be, he'll keep going to managers. But I think if Ten Hag does come in again, I think it'd be perfect for Ten. He loves it. Look at Anthony at Ajax and dynamic wingers. You can just run at a player and create stuff. I think Elanga's perfect for that. And he's only 18 years old. Just been called up to Sweden, I believe, as well. Over there, so yeah, just let him keep blossoming, man, because he's got the right work ethic and he's got the right talent, and you just need to nurture that, and he'll be a top player.
Mentality as well. He's got the right mentality. Like you hear people talking about like the amount of time he puts in training. He deserves to stay on in the first team. Absolutely.
I think he said something. He said he showed up to training early a couple of weeks ago when Ronaldo was already there, and he was just like, fuck's sake.
I love his chant as well. His chant's amazing.
Great stadium song. Shreyas, any thoughts on Olanga?
Yeah, I think we should definitely keep him because the games that we have started him and given him an opportunity, he has shown a lot of promise and hasn't really done anything to actually lose his spot to Rashford right now, who we have at the club. And I think if we are able to develop him, I think he's going to be a really, really great player. He has the talent for it as well, and he's shown a lot of promise to us in the games. I think against Brentford as well, he looked really, really sharp against for such a young player to be playing in a Manchester derby. I think he did a pretty good job in that game as well. So I think the character that he has shown at such a young age, I think we should definitely keep him in the first team.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Next one, I think Edison Cavani, I think he has lifted the curse of the number 7 shirt, but I think this season he's just decided he doesn't want to play for us, and I think he's out the door anyway. I think he's out of contract anyway.
Yeah.
So I think he's gone anyway. So it is what it is. Civir, you shaking your head, or you?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Like,
okay, cool.
Right. A disappointment. Yeah, so.
Yeah, cool. Moving on. A couple like this is where it's going to get a bit sort of nail biting now. Marcus Rashford.
Oh.
What do we do about Marcus Rashford? Had that absolutely stunning season with Tony. What was it? 20 goals, 17 assists. Was that that was the thing? Absolutely flying, dribbling past defenders, tearing them apart, and then since he went to the Euros. Probably shouldn't have gone to the Euros because he didn't really play, was injured, came back, took a holiday, and then decided he was going to get surgery when he could have had it and missed the Euros really because he didn't really play, and then been back. And then since he's come back, he just hasn't been at it. His mentality doesn't seem to be there. His attitude doesn't seem to be there. His decision making has gotten worse. Like, it wasn't that great anyway, but it seems to have gotten worse. He just seems to think he has too much time on the ball and then makes the wrong decision every single time. I think the ability is never in question, and I think he's fantastic when he's in the right frame of mind, but at the minute he's abysmal. So what are we doing? We keep him, selling? Reluctantly, I'm keeping him.
Same.
Keep. Yeah. Nick, talk to you about Marcus Rashford, mate.
It's a weird one with Rashford because this season, as we know, I think he's got something like 4 goals and 2 assists. And under Ole, he was so influential and so important, like behind Bruno Flanders, in terms of the numbers he was putting up, assists and goals and stuff like that. And we all remember that season, don't we? The NHS season where it was Mason, Marshall and Marcus, and he had 56 goals between them and 20 odd assists or whatever it was. Only second behind Firmino, Salah and Mane. So I still think there's a player in there. And I always go back to this quote that Roy Keane said about Marcus Rashford. And he says, the lights are on, but nobody's home. Like, I still think there is a player in there 100%, and he just needs a fresh start. I think the way the season's gone, I think he's got in a proper rut and he can't seem to get himself out of it. Get to the summer, bring a few more players in, have a pre-season and start him off again. You know, let him go away maybe for 3-4 weeks, whatever he needs to do. He's just a confidence player for me. He needs an arm around him. He needs coaching properly. And it's all good saying Rangnick's coming now, but he's not really had time. Like the issues he's had to deal with. You've had 3 games a week. You can't really implement the way you want him to play. And Rangnick said himself in training, he's been absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. And all he needs to do is just apply that in the game. So I still think there's a player in there. And I think next year you'll probably see a different player. That's just me guessing. Maybe I'm being hopeful and optimistic, but I think there's still a player there, definitely.
Anyone else want to jump in? Feel free.
Yeah, man. Show faith in him, man. Show faith. I mean, there are times when he seems, I'm sure I mentioned this in the chat at some point. There were times in the season, like 2 seasons, 3 seasons ago, where he literally carried the team when everyone else was crap. Yeah. Especially in the Europa League season where we won that one. I'd show faith. I mean, he's shown us enough promise. Yes, this season has been crap, but then he deserves our support. I mean, when we used to be this fan base who like always supported our players, and years ago, like even when we played rubbish, we would clap players off the pitch, even when we lost. So I don't know where this whole thing is now, where we don't even give our players a chance anymore, and then we're just completely slagging them off. I think Rashford deserves our support. I think I'll give him 1 more year.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. Let's rally around him. We know what he can do. Yeah. Like Nick says, the lights are on and no one's home. I've had my issues too with mental health. I'm sure a lot of people have had theirs. He's probably in a rut. There are times when I go to work, I can't do crap. I just need a couple of days off and then I'm good. So yeah, let's see what happens with him. Keep him.
Yeah, I think when no one's in any doubt of the ability of Marcus Rashford, like the ability is completely there. That doesn't disappear. So I think he just needs a reset and a rest and a recovery. And hopefully that this summer he can sort of take some time off and it'll do some good. But Shreyas or Adam, do you want to say anything about Marcus or do you want to move on?
I really like that quote that Roy Keane said. It's almost like a lighthouse because it's meant to guide you to places to lights, but it's being a shipwreck of a season. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to be poetic. But yeah, I don't know where it is because he's been playing better when he had injuries, when he was carrying injuries. This season he doesn't, so it has to be a mental problem. That's the only thing I can think of. Nothing's working out. His decision making isn't there. His football IQ isn't there. I think it was said earlier. He's a player who kind of reacts to instinct. Yeah. So when he doesn't have time to make the decision, he's usually better. When it's like taking a pop shot or just like a quick pass before he even thinks. He's sort of that player, but I give him 1 more year because I've been so frustrated with him this season. He's especially on the wing. He's ran into alleys, like blind alleys, where there's being I think it was against Atletico away. He ran down the wing when he should have passed it into the center, and they had like 4 players down that side. I'm like, why are you running there? Why are you running? Running
into players, making the pass, like the easy pass, and then just shooting and it like just being blocked. It's just been it's been terrible.
Like I'd love to see the stat where how many shots are being actually blocked, because I can't remember him having many. The goalkeeper saving them. It's always blocked by the defender.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but hopefully, like Civir said, if we support him, hopefully it'll come good sort of next year. Hopefully that'll be good. Moving on to Civir's possible favourite player, Tony Marshall. Again, like Marcus Rashford, had that fantastic season when he was playing number 9. Absolutely storming it. People were singing about the Ballon d'Or clause, all this sort of stuff. He seemed to be the flavour of the season. And then this season, he just seems to have, again, like Marcus doesn't seem to be there, doesn't seem to be fully focused, his mentality's gone, his attitude, all that sort of stuff. He went on loan to Sevilla, and now even the Sevilla fans are turning on him and jeering him and booing him off the pitch because he's not playing well for them either. He seems to have just, completely collapsed and lost any sort of confidence or swagger. I think he's going to go. I think they're selling him in the summer. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Sivir don't want to put
He's going to abstain, Sivir. He's going to abstain from the vote.
It's a hard one. But, like, funny enough, he's going to be around because, like, who's going to pay him? Who's going to pay him more than wages? Like, no one's going to, unless we terminate.
It's like, but who's going to pay him? Who's going to do it? He's keeping him.
Okay, here's the thing. I'll keep him just for one reason and one reason alone. And I've mentioned this before, right? The only time we've really seen Martial play really good football was when a manager believed in him. Whenever he had the trust of the manager, that's when he performed. And then whenever that wasn't there. So, fuck this. So.
He was trying to defend it and he just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
It's like, we're done with all the circuses and everything.
It's time now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're done. Cut our losses, man. I love him. I'll buy his Sevilla jersey or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
It's a shame because honest to God, when he had that season, I was like, here he is, like Martial. This is the player I wanted to see, and it's just remember that hat trick against Sheffield. Good.
Was that one with the left foot where he just bombed it like, in the roof of the net?
And then the other one where he does the 1-2 with Martial, the keeper comes like just dinks the keeper like effortlessly, without even thinking.
I don't think he even looks, does he? Like he gets the ball, doesn't even look at the goal, and just goes, fuck up.
Dinked him. That hat trick was just mad. Anyway, moving on.
But it's sad, but I think he needs to go.
Depressing.
Finally, we're on to the big hitter, old Ronnie, Cristiano Ronaldo. I think we all got swept up when he came in the summer. Obviously, we bought him because City were going for him and we didn't want that to happen. I don't think we bought him with a plan. I think the plan was Martial, Marcus and Mason still. I think that was the plan. And then Cavani was going to be back up. And we got Ronaldo and we've had to change plans and change tactics on the fly. Came in at Newcastle, scored a brace, and we were like, yes, this is it. Sancho, Ronaldo, like Varan, we're going to fucking dominate this. And it hasn't happened. We had a couple of good moments from him. We had the hat trick against Tottenham, we all fucking loved. Adam was wearing his mask. But let's face it, he's not had much time to wear that mask this season.
No.
Unfortunately.
I had to rub a layer of dust off it.
Yeah. Did well in the Champions League, saved our ass, but then even in the Champions League, he seemed to have lost a pace, lost a yard. I don't know what it is. I just think maybe age is finally catching up to him. I fucking love Ronaldo. He's one of my favourite players of all time. I absolutely love Ronaldo, but I don't know. I'm trying to rule my head over my heart. I'm trying to do it. I think he needs to go.
I know. I'm not that bad.
He needs to go.
I'm actually.
You keep it in. You'll keep it in. Yeah.
And I think it's.
Okay, on, Adam, tell me why you keep it in while Nick has a midlife crisis.
Ronaldo's nearly at that point now. But for me, just looking at the goals, Sebastian Haller has scored target man in that Ajax team. I'm basing it off Ten Hag coming in. I know it's a bad way to think because
but that's a good point. Go on, that's a really good point you're making there.
He's a target man. He's probably the best header of the ball I think I've ever seen. He's like a salmon. He's good at reacting, and his hold up play is actually decent. If Ten Hag comes in,
all I can think of, have you ever seen the video where they put the Titanic music on and he's jumping really slowly and he's like trying to do that and it's just like Celine Dion in the background going, "You're here." That's all that's in my head now.
But yeah, I think he can be a perfect target man in a Ten Hag system, as long as he doesn't drop back to the left or right wing, because he constantly does that. And I don't know whether it's a tactical thing under Ralph, but it's really, really annoying me, because whenever the ball then goes further out to the wing, he's not in the box. And that's where you want him, in the box. We haven't seen enough headed goals from him this season at all. I think, as far as I can remember, was it Atlanta and the Spurs one in Tottenham? They're the only 2 headers I can think of, and this fella's probably the best header of the ball. You could argue maybe in world football, like, ever. Because
to be fair, we've only, was it 2 corners we've scored all season? Yeah. So that
one of them was
him. And I just want to say, putting it onto his head in FIFA from a corner, it's a goal nearly every time. It's a cheat code.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But for me, I keep him for one more year. I think he wants to stay one more year. He wants to lift the trophy with United again. He doesn't want to be remembered as coming back and it being a failure. So I think he wants to lift us kind of out of this rut, and he can be like, oh, look, I'm the guy who brought silverware back to Manchester United before he kind of leaves, whether it's back to Sporting Lisbon, or there's been links with the MLS as well.
Yeah, anyone else want to jump in on Ronaldo? Because
I've had a roller coaster with Ronaldo. Like, when we signed him, I was 100% against it, like, because we just had a not good season, but we, it was Mason, it was, and I thought, if we sign him, then we lose out on people like Erling Haaland or like young strikers. And I was really, really pissed off with the whole thing. And then he scored against Newcastle. I was like, yeah, and then I was like, okay, this is actually working. Okay, so I changed my mind. And then it's like, we're back here again. And I don't know, man. I think we can't just miss out on I think there's some really promising players out there. And I think if we keep him, we will be missing out on some promising talent like Darwin Núñez or like Haaland, and there's other people out there. So I think it's time. I think we should sell him, honestly.
There's 2 sides to it for me, right? Obviously, I absolutely adore Ronaldo. Like, I've loved him. But ever since we signed, he absolutely skinned John O'Shea, mate. And O'Shea was nearly in a fucking ambulance with the twists and turns he was doing. And since he arrived, I love him as a player. And look, even this season, we've had all the shit going on. He's still second in the Prem, the top scorers, behind Mo Salah, joint with another Liverpool player, I think. Who?
Diogo Jota.
Yeah, Jota. So yeah, there's still that thing there where he's obviously still a very good natural goal scorer. But look, if we know he wasn't planned before we signed him, basically, so City didn't get him. So he wasn't in the plans, in the recruitment plans. And then if you're going to bring him in, you have to have a team around him. You have to fit a team around him to suit him. And we don't have that. We have so many dysfunctions in our team anyway. Not to mention banging Ronaldo right in the middle of it and expecting it to just work like right off the bat. So I also think if he went to City, well, maybe not City's team because of the way they play, it's a bit. If you just put him in a fully functioning team, it'd be top goal scorer. I think he's still an elite poacher. I just don't think he suits United in a minute, and I think we need to go. If I'm thinking we're in the head, we need to go in a different direction. Moving forward, bringing a younger striker, a promising striker, I don't know, like a Jonathan David or that Núñez in Portugal who's doing really well. I think we need to just think with our head rather than our hearts, because if we do, we'll keep a Ronaldo for another year or 2.
Yeah, sure.
Adam makes a really good point. Sorry, Adam made a really good point about Ronaldo there, because he can play like a Haller role again if Ten Hag comes. The poach, because Haller is basically a poacher. Like, he's not dribbling past 3 players and scoring. He's just a poacher. He's there at the right place at the right time. Nobody does it better than Ronaldo.
No, I agree. Shreyas, final thoughts final word on Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think that's actually still keep him, because looking at the market right now, the kind of players that might be available for us, I really don't think that we'd be able to get a striker who would just come in and hit the ground running. Of course, there are some decent options like you mentioned Núñez, but I really think that competitors like Arsenal or I've heard even the likes of City, they have also been targeting that player, and they're miles ahead of us at the moment in those deals. So Considering once again that if we do get a Ten Hag, you'd be looking at a United side that would be producing approximately 10 to 12 chances in every single game. And even at this age, I expect him to convert at least 3 or 4 of them if we are able to generate 10 to 12 chances for him every game. Because this season, apart from a few games, we haven't been generating chances constantly for him. Like in the Watford game, we did generate a lot of chances and we didn't take them. But except that one game, I don't really recall us to be consistently generating chances for a player like him. He's been one of the best players to ever play the game. And I still think that having a player like him, he does bring in that mentality. And we've seen that in the team as well, like the game that we had against West Ham at Old Trafford. You could see him passionate enough, and that you could see that desire in him to win the game. And when we won that game, you could see that we can see that Ronaldo mentality influenced all of our players. And if that could happen next season with 11 players having the same hunger and having the same mentality to go out and win, not giving up until the final whistle is blown, I think we'd be looking at a really, really great United side. And I'd keep Ronaldo. I still think that he's got that quality left in him. We've seen glimpses of it, and you give him chances week in and week out, he's going to deliver.
Yeah, I think good words. Yeah, so lads, there we have it. Adam, how many on each side?
Now, what about that Ronaldo vote? That's the one that was split. So how many of us voted keep?
So I did sell.
You're sell.
I keep.
Sell.
2 sells.
Keep.
Okay,
Nick's
I'm
keeping.
Yeah.
Nick's
keeping.
I don't know. I haven't
but you got to make a vote, mate.
You got to make a vote. You're the one. Is a keep or sell? You're deciding it. Because it's 2 apiece.
This is horrible.
Right, something stupid, isn't he?
No. I'll
keep.
Okay. Okay.
So how many have we got on each side, Adam? Keep and sell.
Let me see. For keep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 keep. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cells.
12 cell. Wow. Mm-hmm. That is almost half and half, isn't it? Like the squad keep as well.
Yeah, we also have Maguire terminate.
Okay.
So.
Just fire him out of a cannon. Just
out of
get rid of him. So
he can start demolishing Old Trafford if it's being knocked down. Just get his head and swing it.
Yeah. just don't be playing in my team. Or whatever you want to do, just don't be in my team. So yeah, lads, thank you for that. I think that was very cathartic for us all, just to sort of get our feelings on the players and just be like, I want this. Oh, for God's sake.
Get that head off the Old Trafford.
I think, very cathartic. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate your sort of research and committing to this idea.
I have to say, it was a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah, it is. It's tough, man. When it comes down to it, it's tough. It's very tough. But yeah, last thing to do, subscribe if you're on our YouTube right now. So subscribe to the YouTube, like the video. I think we've got like 9-10 videos, I think, out currently. So go watch all of those, go like all of those. Follow our Instagram, Real Reds Talk. Follow our Twitter, Real Reds Talk. Follow our TikTok, Real Reds Talk. Facebook, all that. Just search us, will pop up. We'll probably. Any last words, anybody, just before we go?
No, I'm just looking to. I can't wait for football to come back this Saturday. I know it's been depressing with United, but I've actually missed it. It's even more depressing with England. I hate watching England play football. Yeah, can't stand it, man. Like, I just don't watch it. So
watching Gareth Southgate football is just.
The schedule will be out tomorrow morning for the content regarding next week, and obviously you've got a match day on the Saturday where we're playing Leicester at home, so there'll be a preview for that. And obviously match day and then other content, loads of other content. So yeah. Thank you, Civir, for being on. It's good to have you on regularly. I enjoy it.
Oh, cool.
Nick Shreyas, you can't come on. You just apparently don't leave the channel. You're just on every day apparently. So nice to have you both on. Yeah. Adam,
Yeah.
Point.
Go on.
The board are saving the manager announcement if we lose against Leicester. That's what I've
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that your
they're like,
prediction?
oh, feel good. Yep, that's a prediction.
Okay.
So if we lose against
Okay.
Leicester,
PR
here's
spin.
Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Here's
Ten
Ten Hag.
Hag.
Speaking of PR spin, Adam and Shreyas and Nick did a PR spin video yesterday, so go watch that as well. That's very good.
Very good video.
Yeah. It's got some good views on it, so if we could push that all the way up as well, that'd be fantastic for us. We're at 50 subscribers, so I want to get to 100 before the end of the season. So help us out with that, please. Adam, thank you for doing this despite your hangover.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
It wasn't that bad.
Tough going. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be some content out this week. We'll put Nick's schedule out. So thank you for joining me, and we will see you next week. Peace.
There you go.